Well, welcome. Are you used to the term mayor yet?
No, I always look for somebody else in the room, so I'm okay.
You have had a long history in politics. You were working in Congress for Congressman Mark Boyle. Then you spent 11 years on city council, and then most recently the Allegheny County Controller. And now you're at mayor. And so I must mention, I mentioned in my opening speech, I sat next to a lovely couple from Pittsburgh. And so we were talking all about Pittsburgh and all the rest. They told me, because they saw me prepare, they saw your headshot. They said, what is this all about? So I explained. And they said, we use campaigns on collaborative growth and bringing community together. So I think you're starting off on a good foot.
We're trying, yeah. It's amazing. I haven't met anybody that didn't vote for me now, which is shocking. I know not everybody voted for me, but everybody seems to have voted for me now. But no, I think there's a lot of, I came in for your speech, but there's a lot of momentum. I mean, look at the crowd right now that we have in this room building about Pittsburgh. And if you look at us in almost every metric, whatever you're looking at, we are probably in everybody's top 10. So now it's got to be the sales pitch of how do we get you to grow? How do we get you to raise your families here? And that's really, the hard part of the job, but that's what we have to do. And we have a prime example coming up, in 50 plus days when 50 million eyes are on Pittsburgh. And not only the couple 100,000 that visit, but what's the new Pittsburgh story about AI, about tech, about, banking industries and things that we can actually control the narrative is going to be very helpful.
And we're going to get into reinvention in a second, but in your inaugural speech, you said we need to red up, not today, not this weekend, but always. What does that mean for you as a leader?
I think it's the details that we've forgotten about for far too long. So first day in office, we did a walking tour of downtown, and a lot of you are here often. But we found there were 104 newspaper kiosks all around downtown. Well, nobody prints newspapers anymore. Or if they do, it's rare. So they're spray painted. They're blocking access to curbs, various things like that. We threw 104 out of our downtown business district. Then we went to the neighborhoods and did the same thing. But those are the small details that we see every day. And you're just sitting there like, why has nothing changed? Why has nobody thrown that away? Even if you drive through town, you see directional signs and, they're great, but everybody has a phone now and the signs are faded. It just makes it look like we're not welcoming you into town. The one thing that we are excited about, it's hopefully we can announce, it's supposed to be getting painted before the draft. If anybody here drives to the Strip District from downtown, you're going through those trestles from the railroad. Why do they look like we don't want you to go to the Strip or we don't want you to go into town? But it's those little things that the details matter. And if you don't pay attention to them, everybody struggles. And it's not just in downtown, but it's also in our neighborhoods. Why do we have ball fields that have weeds growing out of the backstops? Those small things that we want to invest in, but we also want Public Works to be focusing on that stuff because that's the stuff that impacts you on a daily basis. We've already done a demo in the hillside or in the South Hills on demoing a bunch of houses that were dilapidated. We're doing a vacant car blitz. It's all those things that we don't pay attention to anymore that we have to, because that benefits you and your quality of life and why you should live in Pittsburgh.
So Pittsburgh has reinvented itself many times. What do you see as the city's next defining moment? And what kind of leadership will be required to reach that?
Yeah, so I think, obviously we can talk about the draft, but I think it's telling that narrative. We have the talent here. We have to maintain that talent. So when you look at Pitt and CMU and Point Park right down the street, and Point Park just announced, if you didn't hear, maybe a couple weeks ago, The Weekend, Worldwide Artist is coming to Point. So we are building that momentum, but we have to tell that story. So when you cut to a commercial at the draft, the one benefit we have is you're always going to see downtown. No matter how they pan out, you're going to see our beautiful rivers, the Point, the downtown business district. So we have to build on that, but we have to tell a new narrative that we are a growing city and here's how we're going to grow. And if you're a company that's looking for space, we're here to help you. And I think that's something that we haven't done in a long time. So each week we do 10 local calls and try to do 10 national calls. And I'm just cold calling companies. And they're small businesses from a pizza shop to, an investment firm to a tech startup.
Employers across all industries told us during our project Invest Pittsburgh, they struggle to find talent that is not only skilled, but leadership ready. From your perspective, what are the most significant gaps today? And what role should city government play in filling those gaps?
Yeah, I think it's bridging the opportunities. We have the talent at Pitt and CMU, and again, we've already mentioned that, but also the youth in our communities don't get opportunities like they used to. The reality is most kids nowadays, they might go to college, but college isn't for them. Some might not even get out of high school. So how can we partner with our companies to have internship programs in the summer? We have a program called Learn and Earn, where kids are employed throughout the summer in the city of Pittsburgh. Imagine for a couple $1,000,000 if we had Learn and Earn year round. Now that student that never thought they could work at a PNC Bank or Huntington Bank or wherever it is, now they have a full-time employment outside of school hours, and they've been given more of a benefit than just those couple summer months. So working on programs like that and providing kids in Pittsburgh an opportunity that other places wouldn't really shows that we care about you and we care about your future. And I know when I walked in, you talked about housing. Housing's another one. We have to build, 15,000 total units, 6,000 affordable, 10,000 market. But we also have to start doing housing where we're building not just 10 at a time. We have to do 50 to 60 to 70 in some areas, because the more we build, the lower the costs are going to be. And we have to get to a place where people are owning their own home again. Yeah, I think it's being active is one, but then, also making sure that everybody gets a voice. So, we're having constant meetings. People are reaching out. We're going into communities, hearing voices that haven't been heard in a very long time. And I think being active and out in communities and also being transparent. I think that's the one thing we all lack is transparency in government, and just come out and tell the truth. And it's like, look, we have a budget deficit. When we did the snowstorm, we came right out and said, look, 35 trucks went down. This is the reality of what we're living in. And I just think if you're more open and transparent, people understand that everybody has a hurdle to climb in any business. So I think that's the biggest thing that we're going to constantly try to do, is just get as much info out to the public as possible and say, look, this is the reality of where we are as a city, and we're going to try to get to this goal by the end of the year, whatever it might be. So I think being transparent, but then also following, here's our goal, this is what we're trying to do in 100 days, in 2 years, whatever it is, and just do whatever you can to get to that number.
Well, I wish you all the best. And thank you so much for being here.